Here's me all chilled out, enjoying just finishing off casting a game for the WARNO tournament, and then bam, it's devblog time. A day early. What is this? So apparently Suchet has been delayed till at least next week. The plan was to release Suchet at the same time as this devblog, but they found out last minute there was an issue with the version which they would rather fix before delivering it. Therefore it will not be released today, and since we should be aware that they don't release anything on a Friday, this will be delayed till next week. They say though that in the meantime you can watch Strike Team members streaming previews of the divisions and the patch. But let us focus now on a little history of the French division, the 11th Parachute Division. Obviously that's not the French name, but we'll stick with the 11th Parachute Division because it's basically the same thing, just in French. Now the division has a complicated history. In 1971 when it was created by converting the 11th Fast Reaction Division. This original division had only been activated 10 years prior by merging the remaining elements of two parachutist divisions which rebelled against the government in the Algiers coup of 1961. Unlike other French divisions, the 11th Parachute Division was a true division in size. As a matter of fact, it has been created from no less than 7 airborne infantry regiments, and it formed half of France's Force Terrestre d'Intervention in 1970s and the 80s, gaining valuable combat experience in Chad, Zaire and Lebanon. One special feature of this division was the paratrooper regiments originated from 3 arms. 2 regiments were Metro, which stands for Metropolitan France, and 3 regiments, Marine, Naval Infantry, a rebranding of the former Colonial Infantry, and of that set, the last remaining regiment were what we know today as the famous French Foreign Legion. Now apparently that leaves one last regiment, the 1st RPIMA, a Special Forces Regiment. It held the traditions of the original naval commandos trained by the British during World War II, and they have kept the SAS motto, "Who dares wins," and are still to this day referred to as the French SAS. And now we get a little bit more detail about the 11th Parachute Division. Its organic helicopter support was removed in 1984 to be given to the new 4th Division Airmobile. After this date, the division worked closely with its new cousin formation. This is reflected in game with the 4th Division Airmobile, providing their arsenal of rotorcraft to the French paratroopers. Now, much like the 82nd Airborne Division, the 11th Parachute Division has its own Humvee-style light truck, found throughout its rank. This is the VLRA. I'm not even going to pronounce the French, let's move on. And available in a wide range of configurations: transport, recon, logistics, AA, AT, self-propelled mortar, and so forth. And like the Humvee, the VLRA will have more HP than Jeeps, but less than standard trucks. Interesting. So what can you expect in the game itself? Well, let's go through category by category as always. First up, let's look at logistics. It is not the strong suit of this division, with only light CV units available: the Jeeps, the VBL PC and the Puma helicopter. Supply units are meagre, either in the form of the lightweight VLRA Log or the fragile Puma Kangaroo. Infantry, however, is a much stronger category, where they get lots of veteran chasseur paras and also legionnaires paras, organised and equipped respectively like the Grenvolt and Grenvolt Epillas. Furthermore, you will get Sapo paras, which this time fielding more modern small arms, and Group Anti-Char paras Milan 1 and Milan 2, with both coming as para versions. All of these units will feature the forward deployment trait, but can only count on the VLRA and P4 as transport options. Continuing with the infantry, there are also the reservists. Since only half the airborne regiments were professionalised, this type of infantry tended to be sent in the second wave. They do not feature forward deployment as a result. Additionally, some aeromobiles detached from the 4th Aeromobile Division operate with Super Puma transports, but they also lack the forward deployment mechanic. Tanks, well, this division can field the P4 Milan Paras with forward deployment, the VLRA Milan, more missiles but lacking the forward deployment, and France's sexiest vehicle, the ERC-90 Suchet, acting as a sneaky light-wheeled tank. Artillery-wise, the artillery forces are light and quickly turn expensive. The 11th Parachute Division can count on the towed 120mm mortars, the VLRA PBM self-propelled 81mm mortars, which are on trucks, and the HM2A1 105mm light field guns. so no big heavy artillery there. Recon-wise, as with our other French division, the recon category is solid with plenty of cheap slots. You'll gain access to the VBL Rico, the VBL Milan, as well as a 4-man Eclairs Para with the LRAC or Elite 8-man Eclairs SAS with the SIG 543, 2 Mini-Me saws and satchel charges. Also featured are the AML 60-12 with a combo of direct fire 60mm and 12.7mm machine gun, but only good optics, and the AML 90 Lynx with improved optics and its armament replaced with a low velocity 90mm tank gun. Recon Gazelle Lycée, which is unarmed, and a Gazelle Cannon 20mm is also available. In terms of anti-air, although plentiful choices in this category, AA relies on just 2 system families, the 5.3 T2 20mm gun or the Mistral missile. Aside from the basic version of both, you'll also encounter a self-propelled variant on the VLRA for each system, as well as a Gazelle Celtic armed with 4 Mistral missiles. On the helicopter side of things, they are plentiful and cheap, with armed units available being all French, even if they are relatively light. Gazelle can be deployed with 20mm cannon, Hot 1s, Hot 2 versions, and the greatly named Puma Pirate with a side door 20mm can also be fielded. In terms of air, there is a special effort provided here with the Jaguar coming in many configurations, from Seed ATGM, HE to full rocket and napalm options, featuring the Bidon Specialux and a second Seed variant with Gulf War era AMRAT anti-radiation missile plus rockets, and a cluster version. Fighters include the Mirage 2000C RDI, the Mirage F1C200 and the F1CT variant available to fire the LGB. Finally, the Mirage 5 bomb truck completes the airshow. Basically, they get a lot of plane options. The 11th Parachute Division relies on hard-hitting airborne and air mobile infantry, including plenty with a forward deployment option as well as good recon forces. The formation is backed by strong air assets either armed with helicopters or planes, providing critical close air support. However, since the rest of the division's arsenal is pretty light, the 11th Parachute Division is better suited for sneak attacks, flanking maneuvers and light strike missions. Next up is the point that Suchet will be delivered with an accompanying major patch. They have tried to address issues reported by the community as well as adding some new features such as infantry weapon teams, ATGM, RCL and Manpad being able to occupy city blocks. This change is paving the way for the upcoming introduction of heavy machine gun teams. Basically, this is the same way that you can do this in Wargame Red Dragon, as I've always been hoping for and I'm very pleased to see. Some helicopters now have ECM values, giving them more of a chance to dodge missiles. Those models are also equipped with launching flare effects when they are targeted, the same as the planes do. New infantry cards for better readability, improved graphics and effects overall, and more, which will be discussed in the patch notes. Now that all the planned divisions are done, we have also started giving overall balance a closer look. And for that matter, some divisions really needed some love, or the stick as the case may be. The main targets were 2 existing airborne divisions, the 82nd Airborne and the 35th, the former being too good and the latter widely regarded as the weakest in-game. We have brought some changes to bring both more on par with the other divisions. The Warsaw Pact in general and the DDR in particular also needed some buffs, and we'll be keeping a close look on balance once this patch takes effect. We will bring more changes if need be, toning down some of the recent ones if they went too far. We hope you all enjoy these changes. And that's it. They say see you on the battlefield. They say let us know what you think of Suchet's 2 new divisions, and we'll be back with another blog post next week. So that's the end of the blog post. As always, I'll now stick up some images from the Instagram for those of you who don't have Instagram, but otherwise, thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you all next week. So, not quite as many images as some weeks from the Instagram page, but let's have a look through. So the first one here is a Saxon armoured personnel carrier for the British. Next up we have the Phantom is living proof that enough power, even a brick can fly. And well, there you go. Next up we have this lovely shot which they title Have You Ever Danced with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight? That is a really nice shot actually, and it looks very good with the sort of nighttime effects on the map, or the dusk effects. I really like that shot. Now, next up there was a little video of new bomb effects, but I'd rather see that in game next week and put a video up then, because, well, the video isn't great quality, and then when I try and record it off my screen, it's going to look even worse. And there was another video which is just showing some units, some of the new ones moving, which is, again, there's videos up of those in-game now from the strike team, so I'll leave that as it was, and the other images aren't anything special. That's a little bit disappointing this week from the Instagram page, but it is what it is. They'll be busy with other things. But thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all for more Warno as the week goes on, and next week for the next dev blog.